Hello, this is RV Vagabond Jerry, and my 2025 winter trip is coming to an end. And in my previous videos, I've shown you several of the places where I have stayed in my RV. And with only one exception, it's all been boondocking all around South Texas. And in this video, I'm going to show you the last 3 boondocking spots that I'm staying at, which are right along the Texas Gulf Coast. So that will conclude my winter trip, and then I'll start on my spring trip, which will begin with a cruise, a 10-day big ship cruise going out of Galveston. The weather overall has been pretty good. There was a few weeks of very cold temperatures here in South Texas, kind of colder than usual, because I've spent several winters in South Texas, but after that, it has been very comfortable most of the winter. So now, let me show you around this place, Matagorda Bay, which is just about 7 miles south of the town of Matagorda. And at the end of this video, I will show you on the map exactly where to find these 3 boondocking spots, which are some of my favorite. So this place is called the Matagorda Bay Nature Park, and it's administered by a Texas organization called the Lower Colorado River Association. Here is the Welcome Center and gift shop. Let's go up and take a look. From the back patio here, you can see the river, which merges, or this is the mouth of the river, going into the Gulf of America. And you can see some people down there. He's fishing. And there's a dirt road where you can actually take your vehicles down there. And look at this, right beside the Welcome Center is a mini golf. How about that? Then on the right side here is the RV park. The RV spaces here are full hookup. Very, very nice spaces. And they keep them very well maintained. And they don't dare put their prices on here for the RV spaces, because I know for a fact they are really expensive. And if you want a space that is right alongside the river here, guess what? There's a bonus charge for that, opposed to being on a lane that is away from the river, like over there. But then you've got only a few steps to the fishing pier. And the river is named the Colorado River. It starts in northwest Texas, so I have no idea why they named it the Colorado River when we've already got a Colorado River in Arizona. Now, if you're not into camping but you like it here, guess what? They have these really nice big bungalows that you can rent, and these are pretty new. I've been here 3 times in the last several years, and all of these bungalows are newly built. Now, on the other side of the visitor center, they have this really big parking lot. You see my motorhome right there. This is called the jetty area, and here are the rules for the jetty. And as you can see, it says overnight camping limited to 24 hours. I'm going to see if I can get 48 hours out of it. I really doubt they'll come kick me out. We'll see. And here they have some small cabanas and one really big one there. Some really nice shade. And here they have a restroom building. And off to the right there is some outdoor showers, 3 of them. And here is the entrance to the beach access. They have this long walkway going out. Otherwise it would be difficult to get out to the beach over all this. It's a really nice big beach with some very fine looking sand. Now you can drive your vehicles out here, but this is the kind of thick sand you're going to have to go through. Got some people fishing there, and this is where you walk down to the beach. There are some fairly rough waves here, so that should be actually fun to play in. And right behind the state property, there are a lot of private homes here that people live in year-round, or maybe they rent them out. This is a really big one. It might be a B&B with a lot of different bedrooms. Now you can camp on the beach in your RV or in tents. You do need a permit. That is $10 for a calendar year. So if you want to stay longer, you don't mind being on the beach, and that would be a good option. So I would say this place is mostly for people for fishing or into water sports. Well, I'm going to take off now to my next place I'm going to show you. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you on the map exactly where to find these places. Well, I have now made it to the second location that I want to show you in the town of Sargent. And this place does show up on Google Maps, but it calls it Chamber Park. I don't know why. Maybe it used to be called that. There's this really large, fairly large parking lot, and there's my motorhome right there. This is just the restroom building. There are no showers. And that is it. These picnic table covers. It's got a concrete bottom and a good roof, but you have to bring your own picnic table. And the parking lot used to be paved, obviously, but look how much it's gotten torn up over the years. A lot of it is missing. It's kind of hard to drive on. Now this is the only sign. Good news is no parking restrictions. Bad news is that permit it referenced there that you get at local businesses. There are no local businesses here on this side of the bridge. The last time I was here, there was just one very simple bridge that went across the waterway. And now look at this monstrosity that looks like it came right out of Houston. It's called the Corkscrew Bridge, with a corkscrew on both sides. And the problem is, the reason they built it is that once you come across here, the ocean is just right there. And there's very little room to slow down, I guess. Now the previous bridge didn't have room for boats to go underneath, at least not big ones. Kind of like that, although that's not very big. But look at the clearance here. I don't think I've ever seen a boat that needed that much of a clearance. And this is not a busy waterway. This is a typical boat that comes through here, and they've got plenty clearance right there in the middle. Oh, I just noticed this. Surf Museum, which is that building there. I'll have to check it out later and see if it opens. Maybe they have the permits to sell. There is one RV park here, which has 7 full hookup spaces. There was nobody in the office. I was wondering if maybe they had the parking permits. Right across from the RV park is this really big building. Looks like it's vacant and not very inviting. This is an inland waterway, and right across the huge bridge there is a fishing marina, and the map says there is a restaurant there. I'm gonna go check it out and see if it is or not. The beach is like 40 steps from the parking lot, but the beach is pretty rough with all these rocks, and then along the coast you have all these rock barrier that is lying there, so it's not a really good beach to play in for sure. Well, considering that there are no restaurants nearby and the weather here is kind of bad, I'm just going to stay 2 nights and then move on to my next location. The last beach boondocking place I'm going to show you is just a little ways east of the town of Surfside. The first thing you will see is this Circle K. They've got a lot of hot foods in there, and they make pizzas. At this intersection, if you turn right, you'll go into the town of Surfside, where they've got a really nice city park and a couple restaurants. But you want to turn left at this big intersection here to go to where the beach parking is. Then a couple miles down that road, turn right on Seagull Avenue. That street sign is kind of hard to see, so watch for this on the other side of the road there. Then when you get to the beach, you see this sign, turn left. A little ways down you will see this sign and that post, 3 posts over here, and trash barrels. So you can park anywhere from here on down. Don't park this side of that sign. I've driven this road 3 times over the last several years, and it has always been so hard packed and very solid that I've never worried about getting stuck in any soft sand. There really is no soft sand along the driving area here. They do regularly grade this sand here. Now the sand at the water level on the beach here is not fluffy sand. It's not rocky, but it's very moist sand out by the water. There are some other RVers here, and they're up against these dunes. You don't want to park too close to the dunes because it is kind of soft up there, but you want to get further enough away from the road so you're not like near where other vehicles are going to be driving up and down the beach, and there are quite a few vehicles you will see here. Now there's nobody on the beach today. This is on a Tuesday. The last time I was here, it was on a weekend and there was just a whole lot of people out, and it was more the beginning of the summer. A lot of people from the communities not too far from here come out just to play in the water for the day. So last time I was here, there was just a lot of temporary tents set up right near the water there. I don't like to stay here too long for fear of getting sand and salt up in the underside of my motorhome. One time I was here, I think I stayed like 4 or 5 days and didn't have any trouble at all. As you can see, it's a pretty large, very wide beach. Lots and lots of parking area. And as far as I know, there is no limit. There may officially be a 14-day limit for staying here, all on the county property. Now, inside the city limits of Surfside, you have to have a permit you have to buy to park on the beach, which is okay, but the problem is they don't allow overnight parking on the beach within the city limits of Surfside. So you have to get past that sign that I showed you to make sure you're on county property where there is no permit needed. There's no cost at all. The waves here are kind of rough, and it can get rougher. Fun to play in if you like to play and kind of fight the waves for a little bit. I always go out a little bit each day and do that. Cell reception here is kind of weak, so I brought out my Starlink satellite antenna. And next to Magnolia Beach, I think this is probably the best beach camping anywhere in Texas. Well, I hope you like the 3 locations that I showed you in this video. If you have time in the winter, you come down to South Texas, give it a try. Okay, now I'm going to go into my computer and show you on Google Maps exactly where these 3 locations are to make it easier for you to find them. So I started off at this Matagorda Bay Nature Park, then drove this way down to Sargent to Chamber Park, and Sargent starts right there and goes all the way down to the beach for the city limits. And then I went up to Lake Jackson, stayed a couple nights at the Walmart there, and then down to Surfside Beach, and the beach camping spot where I am now is 3 miles up the coast from that Circle K. As you can see, Lake Jackson and Surfside Beach is just directly south of Houston. Well, folks, let me know what you think of the video. Good day.